So one of the bad things about sourdough bread is it just doesn't last very long. Not in my house. My husband has to eat gluten-free, so I am the only person in our home that eats sourdough bread, and I just can't eat an entire loaf very quickly. So we get this situation. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, it gets moldy. After about 3-4 days, it will go moldy. So I heard this thing, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm gonna do a little experiment and see if this works. I have read where you can freeze a loaf of sourdough bread and then get it out of the freezer when you're ready for it, thaw it out like overnight, and then run it under water. Sounds scary, doesn't it? Run it under water and then put it in a 350-degree oven for about 5 minutes. And supposedly it comes out like new, like freshly baked bread. So I have a loaf of frozen sourdough bread, and I thought, let's just try this and see. My oven just preheated. If you heard that little beep, it's telling me the oven's ready. So let's do this. So here's the bread that just I froze, and just like a new loaf of bread here. I'm gonna run this under the water like I'm told it's supposed to work. This is so scary. Water's on. Oh, this just seems so weird. Okay, I don't know how long you're supposed to do that for. It's nice and wet. So I'm gonna pop it in the oven and we'll see how this works. Oven is hot and the bread is just gonna go right in there, right on the shelf for 5 minutes. I'm gonna set my timer here for 5 minutes. We'll come back in 5 and see if it worked. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. The bread's there in the oven. Let's get this out and see if it worked. There we go. I'm gonna leave that on because I have to cook dinner. So now, normally when you're making sourdough bread, you don't want to cut your bread when it first comes out of the oven. With sourdough bread, that can ruin your loaf of bread. If you cut it when it's right out of the oven, it'll be gummy inside. So you don't want to do that when you're making freshly baked sourdough bread. But I'm told that when you reheat it this way, when you thaw it out and reheat it, that it's okay to cut it right out of the oven. So, I don't know. Let's see. I got my knife here. I'm gonna go ahead. This is nerve-wracking. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. So it's still crispy. I think that's what the water does. I think it, hear that? I think it restores the crispy crust. All right. Still looks good. By the way, did you see the bunny? Sourdough bread should have should make a little bunny shape. Do you see the bunny? So I'm gonna cut an end off of this and get some butter and see how it tastes. Let me grab my butter. Butter, gotta have butter with warm bread, right? All right, move this over here. And then I'm just going to turn this up like this. And I'm just gonna slice a little end piece off. I normally don't like the ends, but for these purposes, I'll leave the end. Here, put some butter on that baby, and we will see. It's kind of warm, actually, so. Okay, here goes nothing. It tastes just like new. It works. Who would have thought to put your bread under running water? That's so weird. It works. So if you have a loaf of sourdough and you can't eat it all, or you can't eat it right then, put it in your freezer. Pull it out, run it under the water faucet, pop it in the oven, good to go. Go make it a good day.